What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to be talking about the overall market and break down what the technicals are telling us and talk about what's happening intraday and also talk about President Joe Biden. Before I break anything down about all the news that's coming out, what's going on with the market intraday, I do have to mention a couple of things before starting. Firstly, I am not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice whatsoever. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link down below in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo, the link down below, and deposit $100 into the account, you're guaranteed up to 10 free stocks. Now, anyways, let's talk about the market. What on earth is going on? So in the morning, I told you that the MACD on the 30-minute time frame, or MACD for SPY, was just not looking that great. It was looking a little bit sideways from that end, but on the bigger time frames, like the hourly, the 4-hour, and the daily, we were looking very bullish. So I told you we might start off with some like kind of sideways price action. It may not be that strong in the very beginning, but then I told you that the odds greatly favored us eventually getting a big push to the upside, thanks to the bullish signals we were getting on the 4-hour, the 2-hour, the 1-hour, the daily, and much of the larger time frames. So I told you that in the very beginning, and what happened was SPY got this pump to this like 426 area, then it dumped all the way down to the 424 area, then came right back up. And I warned you that if we broke this resistance right here, the next resistance that was very significant was 425 to 426. Expect this thing to pump to about 427.5 or so. And that is where we pumped to. And for about 2 hours, we were stopped by 427.5, trading sideways right at resistance. Then we broke above this, right? And the next major resistance is actually like around the 430 area. But we do have some resistance around the 428.5 to 429 zone. But the major one's around 430. Now the technicals are still looking strong. There's no confirmation of the market like tanking or anything like that for now. And we're only about 30 cents away, 39 cents away from the high of the day, holding up quite nicely as algos are continuing to buy us up. But I do see a problem with this pump for the bulls. I'm going to break down what the problem is. If you look at the debt ceiling, Biden has to sign the debt limit into law, the new bill that came out. And the problem is the debt ceiling being raised was not official yet. As awesome as it's been and as confident as we are that they're going to pass it, it is not official yet. Because Biden and McCarthy just recently came to an agreement. They came to a consensus, right? And then the House took over. After Memorial Day weekend, the House took it over. And the House ended up supporting this bill. They passed it. Then the Senate got their hands on it. Then the Senate passed it. So the bill is passing different stages. The bill is not officially done yet until Joe Biden signs it. And we're just waiting for that. Now, why is this significant? What does this have to do with anything in the markets? Well, think about a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. What typically happens is stock prices start going up in anticipation of big news or the big event. They start pricing it in before it happens because the markets are very forward looking. Then the event happens and the market generally tends to get this dump, or it can happen to many different stocks. It's similar to how like Tesla, for example, tends to pump very hard approaching earnings. Then after earnings, it tends to drop. That's typically what happened in like 2021, for example, even parts of like 2020. That's similar to what could be happening. And it's a real risk right now in the markets. But it's not a guarantee because there's no confirmation of us dropping yet. Okay? So there's no confirmation, there's no guarantee the market's going to just start dumping immediately, but it's very possible, seeing how overbought the market is and seeing some sell signals developing on the QQQ. And what do I mean by that? First off, if you're watching SPY, there's going to be some resistance closer to like 428.5 around that zone. Break that. 429 could technically come, but it's going to become harder because we are showing some signs of exhaustion and a slowdown for the time being. We're not pumping as hard as we were like earlier today. But anyways, if 429 breaks, I mean, we could get very close to 430. But for now, I'm not really counting on that. I personally just sold my positions on my trading accounts, and I'm just holding cash right now, getting ready for the next big move. And you have to be very patient when it comes to trading like this. Support, and that's not financial advice, by the way, support is around 427.5. Break below that. 427 flat has some support, but then the next major support after that is going to be between 426.36 and 426 flat, between that zone. Watch that as support. I just wanted to mention this. But what's going to happen moving forward? Are we about to see a rug pull after the bill comes out? It's a possibility, and the odds favor that, seeing how overbought SPY is. But we have to be open-minded and wait for confirmation before playing it. That's why I'm not like shorting the market just yet. There's always a possibility it pumps a little bit more before anything like that happens, and we have to wait for the confirmation. Now for Tesla, let me just mention that I told you guys if we hold above this 210 area and our technicals remain bullish, which they did, Tesla has a good chance at shooting even higher. And this is what Tesla looked like on the hourly time frame. Tesla broke and held 210. It started pushing. The next major resistance was around this like 214 zone. You could see Tesla started trading sideways for about an hour around this 214 area where it got rejected and just traded sideways for some time. And then it continued pushing. It broke it. And the next major resistance, the next very strong resistance, was around the 217 zone. I told you around the very high 216 to about 217.83 is a major resistance zone for Tesla, because historically Tesla has lots of chop here, lots of rejections in this area, and I told you it's going to be very tough for Tesla to break this. But if Tesla did break this, we could see this thing get closer to 220. For now, it's been getting rejected exactly here. This is the zone I had drawn out, and we're just going to wait and see how it moves from here. I mean, it's going to take a lot for Tesla to break it, and volume is starting to slow down. You can see the volume right here, it's slowing down, so it's going to be much harder for Tesla. But overall, we're still in a pretty decent place. But there is a risk for Tesla in the market moving forward. Uh, Not saying that this has to be a buy the rumor, sell the news with the debt ceiling. Not saying it has to be one. There's no confirmation of it yet. But there is a risk because on the QQQ, okay, there's a massive bearish divergence developing on the hourly time frame. I mean, you can just zoom out and see it quite clearly. It's very evident, like right here. Every time this thing continued to pump, the RSI has been just downtrending. It's bigger right here, even on the signal line where the PPO crossover was, right? So right here, this is telling us that this pump is likely going to stall and see some downside, maybe as soon as like next week. But once again, even though technicals are suggesting this, there's no guarantee until we start to see confirmation of the price making lower highs and lower lows. But for the QQQ, I told you that we're going to have a lot of chop in this area. As you could see for the last couple of hours, since the pre-market going into open, we were just chopping back and forth around this zone. This is between 353 to 354. And I told you if we broke this, the next level to watch for is going to be around 355.5, around that zone. And that's very close to where the QQQ got stalled, where it failed to break out so far. And now it's losing some momentum on the hourly time frame. The 4 hour is still pretty good, still getting a crossover, but it's not extremely strong. And on the 4 hour, there happens to be, this appears to be a triple. I think it's a triple or a double. I think a triple negative divergence, or it's looking like a double negative divergence actually, because this RSI is different. So it's a double negative divergence on the QQQ still. If it gets some kind of rejection and it breaks below, this 323, 353, excuse me, level going into next week, then we're going to likely see this to make its way all the way down to 330, if not lower than that, as early as next week. Why? Because this is suggesting that we might be seeing a rejection coming soon on the QQQ once we get the confirmation, and that could happen after the debt ceiling is signed. Because it's once again suggesting we could be seeing a buy the rumor, sell the news kind of event. And I'm not saying the market has to crash. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is we could get a very healthy pullback as soon as next week based off this technical signal, right? And that's the reason why I started to just take my profits on Tesla and SPY. I mainly just traded those two today. I took profits, exited, secured all the gains, and I'm looking good for the day. And I'm sure a lot of you guys are too. I'm very confident in many of you. Many great traders are watching this channel. So be very patient and do not live in regret if you secure profits and then you just continue to see stocks rally. You have to remember that there are going to be other opportunities, okay? Much better opportunities in the future almost every single day. Okay, there's so many other opportunities. It's okay. Profit is profit. Do not become scared to take profits. Do not become very regretful over taking profits. That is okay. Managing risks is very important. I just wanted to inform you all about this development uh, right before the weekend starts. I think it's very important that you know this, that you're aware of this. Now, the QQQ and the NASDAQ, developing these types of signals will have a big effect on tech and many other industries. The QQQ simultaneously has a bearish. I'm not really seeing confirmation of it just yet. Let me just double check this. Uh, so right here on the Nasdaq, we have the same thing developing. It's just a little bit bigger. On the 4-hour time frame, there's a bearish divergence still developing, and that tells me the Nasdaq could get a rejection soon. Not saying it's rejecting now. Right now, it's not rejecting. It's continuing to pump, but in the future, this chart is telling me that eventually something is going to happen. At least the odds greatly favor that because the sell signal is still valid, and it could be because of the debt ceiling deal. Once the debt ceiling news is out of the way, the market already priced everything in. The market will likely get an opposite reaction to cool off as these imbalances get filled by the algos. Okay? I'm just warning you in advance. SPY is pumping right now still. There's room for upside, yes, but for the time being, be very, very cautious. Okay, so thank you for listening. Hopefully, this was very clear for your intraday update. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys later on. Market to the moon as the long term is very bright, and peace out.